Hi everybody, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, things just got a lot worse. We've been covering some stories about the protests and everything going on in Barcelona. There have been protests in the Canary Islands, Majorca, France. Well, the cruise lines are starting to respond, and not only are the cruise lines starting to respond, tourists are starting to respond. So recently I told you about protesters going through about 3,000 in Barcelona. They went marching in the tourist areas where a lot of shops and cafes are and restaurants. And they were harassing the people in the restaurants, yelling at them, throwing debris at them, squirting them with water guns, and just basically making the people sitting there who were just trying to have lunch and enjoy the atmosphere extremely uncomfortable and actually a little bit afraid of their safety when there's a ton of people out there screaming at you to go home, go away. And now the tourism minister in Spain has condemned those protesters for squirting water and tossing some trash at people and stuff like that. Well, good for you, tourism minister. I'm so glad you took a hard stand. How about if you harass people and yell at people just sitting there having a good time? Maybe the police should get involved, right? Maybe the police should have gotten involved, but I digress a little bit in that sense. Now, the cruise lines themselves have started to anticipate a lot of these issues, and some of them have changed actual port destinations already in Spain. However, the Cruise Line International Association, World Tourism person, has come out and said, you know what, that there will be some consideration of adapting the itineraries if for some reason we feel that the passengers will not be treated well. So not only are they saying that you are in danger of maybe violence, protest or something like that, but just not being treated well. And these protests, even if you're not harming anybody, you're still harassing people who are just on vacation, who have nothing to do with your protest. They're not the ones who are, running the cruise lines. They're not the tourism industry in your country. They're just there to have a vacation and wanted to see your beautiful country. But I guess that doesn't matter to some of these protesters. And now CLIA has also come out to say that, that tourism phobia is a problem in Spain, but also in France and other Mediterranean countries out there, and increasingly sensitive scenes that have been seen in places like Barcelona have a huge impact on the reputation of that destination. And that was told by Marie Laurent, who is the CLIA, Cruise Line International Association's European director. And she's warning people out there in that area to say, you know what? Protests and harassment of tourists and everything, it might seem like a really good idea and you get in the news and things like that. But that's also a bad idea because you get in the news for something that people don't want to be involved in. And you get in the news for a bad reputation. And eventually people will just start turning away from this situation and won't go. In fact, a news media out there put out a post about people, after the protests and everything, are you still going to Spain? And this was put out in Britain. And numerous responses were like this one here that I saw. It says, "We had been thinking on going on holiday to Spain this year, but not anymore. I won't take my family somewhere where we receive animosity. And really, for the foreseeable future, I don't see us ever visiting Spain again. We have always treated local people with respect when on holiday. We don't get overly drunk or cause any problems when in another country, but we will get this bad feeling from the people of Spain also. It's a sad situation, but nonetheless, one that may see us never go to the mainland Spain or any of the beautiful islands again." And that was caught hundreds of times on this news media's website that I was reading in Europe. Well, that's not a good sign. And already hoteliers in places like Mallorca and Spain are announcing a downturn in how many bookings they're having. Now they're blaming the World Soccer Cup and the poor weather that they've been having, but this is also a really big consideration. And now with the cruise lines out there saying that, you know what? We can always go someplace else. We have a mobile hotel behind us, and we can move and go to a different destination to places that are more welcoming to us right now. And there are a ton of places looking to expand the cruise industry. We have Saudi Arabia investing billions of dollars in new cruise ports, new cruise terminals, infrastructure, tourism industry, trying to get more cruises into Saudi Arabia. Of course, we have Dubai that's building the world's largest cruise terminal ever, built, constructed. What else is new in Dubai, right? Everything has to be the biggest and the best. And they're wanting to expand their cruise industry immensely as well. China is now building 14 new terminals throughout China and is actually expanding some of the ones that are existing there, making them able to bring in even larger ships and expand their tourism, because most of them go to places like, Shanghai, but they want to expand that to more areas along the coast so they can spread the tourism out along the countryside, along the ocean. And I just covered the story about the Philippines building 5 new cruise terminals, brand new cruise terminals, trying to bring in more tourism that way and appease. And those places right now have a reputation for wanting cruise ships and cruise passengers, as well as wanting the tourism. And the hospitality and the welcoming in some of those places has been astronomical. I went to China myself, and the first thing in your mind is, oh my God, I'm going to this communist country. They were actually arguing and taking prisoners with each other over the Huawei, is that how you pronounce that phone, representative here in Canada. And then they took the 2 Bryans here in Canada and held them captive. I went there during that time. And the people there were wonderful. They were very hospitable. And I thought China was beautiful. I would have loved to stay and spent more time there. And then, of course, Asia, the Philippines, a really welcoming country and really, really want the tourism dollar. So yeah, you got to be careful, Spain, and especially letting, dictating by mobs. And it's one thing to say, okay, you know what, we need to set some limits and everything, but when there's protests going on, it hurts the reputation of the city, it hurts the reputation of the people of Spain as, disrespectful and, all that kind of thing. And people are now thinking of just staying away. I don't want to go there if we're not welcome, and I won't go there if there's a chance that I'm going to be sitting in a cafe and people are going to be hassling me just because I'm on holiday in their country. Be careful what you ask for, because you just might get it. Just a FYI, in Spain, the cruise industry tourism alone is over $1 billion in income. Just an FYI. Well, I hope you appreciate this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel blogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Till next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.